I generally don't care for dogpiling people on the internet. Maybe it's because I'm a little older, maybe it's because I've been a victim of it in the past, or maybe I'm just too hipster to even call myself hipster in the first place, so I don't like anything that everybody else is engaging in. I typically like to give people the benefit of a doubt and assume that they're good people with good intentions, since most people generally want to do good in the world, or at least not do any harm. This is not one of those times. The blogger Lori Alexander published an article this week called Men Prefer Debt-Free Virgins Without Tattoos, which I think is the first time ever in the history of humanity that anyone's ever said that sentence. But what's more is she created some cover image, or I guess you can call it a meme, for the article that probably doesn't do them any favors either. And as you can see from the comment section on my share of it to a science enthusiast on Facebook, hilarity ensued. Of course, my first reaction was to laugh hysterically at it because it's really funny. I thought it was some sort of expert level satire. You have this horribly named Facebook page. You have this awful blog with an even worse meme on the cover of it. Surely nobody actually believes this. I think what puts an exclamation point on the end of it for me is that they use the only font worse than papyrus, whatever the hell this thing is. So just like one of my followers, Martha, pointed out, there's an entire article attached to the meme, which I didn't realize whenever I first shared it, and it just gets worse from there. And it's worth noting that this is a serious article that a real person seriously wrote, and they actually meant every word of the meme. And it only gets worse after you actually read the article. So almost out of the gate, she says, "There are many more reasons why Christian young women should carefully consider whether or not they go to college, especially if they want to be wives and mothers someday." Oh shit, Lori, this is a whole religious-based thing, isn't it? So we're not second-guessing the message here, we're first-guessing the message. Because who said that it should be anyone's goal in life to get married, or anyone's goal in life to have children? Why should that be anyone's primary life goal? Why should that define who you are as a person? And she continues, "Secular universities teach against the God of the Bible and his ways. It's far from what God calls women to be and to do. It teaches them to be independent, loud, and immodest instead of having meek and quiet spirits." So these are real words that were supposedly written by a real woman who allegedly was not under duress of being held at gunpoint while she was writing them. Because basically what she's saying here is, if you go and get yourself that there education, you're going to learn that you don't have to shut up and sit down. And so almost immediately, this blog dives into testimonials from alleged readers about how I assume women should only speak when spoken to. When you almost immediately resort to using testimonials instead of actually explaining or justifying your point, you might have an extremely terrible argument on your hands. If your point is valid, you shouldn't need to almost immediately point to someone else and say, "Hey look, they agree with me." And yet, she persisted. "Men don't want to marry a woman with debt. Most of this debt comes from college. They would also prefer a woman who still lives at her parents' house and has not had other relationships. Do those two things and you will be highly sought after." Oh my god. I couldn't even finish that without laughing because that's so fucking funny. So in other words, don't go to college, don't learn things, don't become your own person. But there are literally studies that show that romantic relationships are healthy for us and a healthy part of our development. If they go to college, they are unlikely to stay home raising their children to pay off the debt and use the degree they spent years on. Holy shit, they might actually get a job. Oh my god. But believe it or not, it gets worse. The husband will need to take years of teaching his wife the correct way to act, think, and live, since college taught them every possible way that is wrong. Every possible way that's wrong. Makes me wonder, what do they think college exactly is? But I have a goddamn degree in education myself, and I barely feel qualified to teach kids anything, never mind take on the responsibility of teaching another adult how to function in society. If I had to teach my girlfriend anything other than why GoldenEye 64 is the best video game of all time, and if you disagree with me, you are wrong, I wouldn't be nearly as attracted to her as I am. And I love and value Emily because of how intelligent she is, how funny she is, and because I don't have to teach her how to be an adult who has her own opinions. I love Emily because she's not afraid to push back on me when I have an opinion that she disagrees with, not in spite of the fact that she likes to do that. But there's more! They will start having babies later in life. That is, if they can conceive naturally. Is college worth having less children? I will never understand how women prefer careers over having precious babies. What the shit, Lori? You are the reason we can't have nice things! It's very rare to find an 18-year-old woman that continues to work and live at her parents' house until she meets her husband. It's pretty much a joke to all who do that. Who's going out looking for 18-year-olds like this? Your posts sound crazy to anyone who does not believe the Bible is true. Most girls have not read the Bible with their father or husband to explain it to them. That part is important. Instead of learning it from their parents, they seek out books or movies on how to interpret the Bible, which leads them down the wrong path. No! No! Stop it! Your posts sound crazy because they are crazy. End of discussion. Period. No further explanation needed. And so Lori leaves us with her final thought on the article. Young woman, be wise in the path that you choose to walk on. Keep a long-term vision of your life and how you hope it will be someday, instead of acting upon all the what-ifs that many will throw at you. Trust God with your life, study the Word, and take the narrow path that leads to life. Stay virgins until marriage, out of debt, and don't get tattoos. So let's play a little game. Imagine living a life where you felt that all knowledge was dangerous, that it was better to not learn new things every day, or that you had so much internal hatred that you felt you owed someone else gratitude simply for existing with you. And imagine that your entire life value was in identifying as a parent to a child and nothing more. This is exactly what religion does to you. It teaches you that you're broken and that no matter what you've done or will ever try to do, you are wrong and that you should be in a constant state of needing to be fixed. And it teaches to both men and women that women should be subservient to men and that they shouldn't pick up a goddamn book because that's dangerous. That they should sit quietly in the corner until they're spoken to. And religion also teaches you that women are property who need to be controlled. Religion is a poison that infects the minds of others and encourages them to put all their self-worth into raising a child or having a family instead of being an actual human person who has hobbies and friends and actually enjoys life. So since Lori closed out her article with a Bible verse, I think it's appropriate for me to close out with a Bible verse as well. If a man finds a girl who is a virgin, who is not engaged, and seizes her, and lies with her, and they are discovered, then the man who lay with her shall give to the girl's father 50 shekels of silver, and she shall become his wife, because he has violated her. He cannot divorce her all his days. Good old Deuteronomy. And just as a little side note here, that is so clunkily worded. I would think that the Word of God would flow a little bit better than that did. That took me about 8 or 9 takes to read it all the way through without stumbling, and I've been reading things for, about, we'll say 28, 29 years. But since they want to introduce some math here in Deuteronomy, I think it'd be fun to break down, exactly how much 50 shekels is. A shekel is 0.497 ounces, which makes 50 shekels 24.85 ounces. And with silver being $15.85 an ounce right now, that means it'll cost about $393 for your crime. So if you made it this far into the video, thank you for watching. I haven't done too many things like this in the past just because I've always felt weird shouting at a camera for about a half hour and then having to watch myself on camera for another hour or two while I get it edited down and put together for you guys. So let me know your thoughts about the video. If you have any ideas about other videos for me to do. It's kind of something that I want to try to get into, but it's one of those things where everything is shiny and I don't know where to start. If this is the first time you've ever seen anything that I've done, be sure to hop over to Facebook and follow me as a science enthusiast. I'm also on Instagram and Twitter as @ascienthusiast. And if you really like what I've been doing here, check out my Patreon, patreon.com/ascienceenthusiast. I have links to all the other stuff that I do on Facebook. It involves cats and involves shit posts and nihilism kind of type, not really things, but we pretend that it's nihilistic. Satire as alternative science, and just a thousand other different things. So thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.